My name is Tyler Jensen. I'm 37 years old, and I live in a small apartment in downtown Chicago. I've been here for almost a decade, working remotely as a freelance graphic designer. Most days are quiet, just me, my coffee, my laptop, and the window across the street. It faces a similar building, with the same rows of square windows. For the longest time, they were just part of the background blurry rectangles I'd stared through when my mind wandered during work that changed 3 weeks ago. I first noticed her on a Tuesday morning, around 8:15. I was brushing my teeth, looking out like I always do, when I saw her standing by her window, holding a coffee mug. She wasn't doing anything remarkable, just staring into the street. But there was something about the way she looked, still, focused, like she was waiting for something. She had shoulder-length dark hair and wore a white robe. I don't know why, but I felt like I'd seen her before, maybe on the street, or maybe just in a dream. At first, I thought nothing of it. People stand by windows all the time. But then she came back the next day. Same time, same robe, same coffee, and the next day, always standing there at 8:15, like clockwork. I started to make it part of my routine. I'd wake up, make my coffee, and watch her from my window. I told myself it was just curiosity, a human thing, but I knew it was more than that. She seemed sad. Not the kind of sadness you show, more like the kind that clings to you when no one's watching. About a week later, I waved. It was a small gesture, just a raise of my hand. She didn't wave back. In fact, she didn't even blink, just stared past me like I wasn't there. The next day, I didn't see her. Her window was closed, curtains drawn. That hadn't happened before. I waited the entire day, checking every hour. Nothing. By the third day, I started to worry. It felt insane. I didn't even know her name, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. On the fourth day, I did something I'd never done before. I left my apartment, crossed the street, and stood in front of her building. I didn't have a plan, I just wanted to know if she was okay. I buzzed the front door and waited. No answer. I tried again. Nothing. A man passed by with a bag of groceries, and I caught the door before it closed behind him. I stepped inside the lobby, which smelled faintly of bleach and cigarette smoke. Old buildings always had that smell. I scanned the mailboxes for her name. I didn't even know what I was looking for. But then I saw it, a Carter, apartment 3B. I climbed the stairs slowly, heart racing. What was I even going to say? Hi, I watch you every morning from my window. Are you alive? When I reached the third floor, I hesitated in front of her door. I listened. Silence. I raised my hand to knock, then paused. What if she was just sick? Or maybe she had gone out of town. I almost turned around, but something deep inside pushed me forward. I knocked once, then again. No answer. I slid a note under her door. Just a simple message. Hi, my name is Tyler. I live across the street. I noticed you haven't been at your window the past few days. I hope everything is okay. If you need anything, here's my number. I didn't expect anything to come of it. I went back home, half convinced I'd lost my mind. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak in my apartment felt like a warning. Every shadow looked like it had something to say. The next morning, she was back. Same window, same robe, same mug. But something was different. She was holding the note, my note, and she was looking directly at me. Not through me, not past me, at me. For a moment, we just stared. Then she smiled. A small, faint smile that barely moved her lips. I smiled back. That simple exchange lit something in me I hadn't felt in years. Connection. The next day, she waved. From that point on, we started communicating through notes. She'd hold them up to the glass. Short, handwritten messages scribbled on notebook paper. Morning, nice shirt. What are you working on today? I'd respond the same way. I started looking forward to our silent conversations more than anything else in my day. I even started dressing better, ironing my shirts, brushing my hair. I didn't realize how much I'd let myself go until someone started noticing me again. One day, her note said, "What's your favorite color?" I wrote, "Blue," and held it up. She nodded. The next morning, she was wearing a blue scarf. Another time, I asked her what she did for work. She replied, "Photographer, retired." I told her I was a designer. She smiled wider that day. We were building something strange but beautiful. A friendship made of paper and glass. Then, everything changed. It was a Monday when I saw the man. He was tall, maybe 6'3", and built like a linebacker. I'd never seen him before. He appeared behind her, in the same apartment, and for a second, she looked terrified. Just for a second, then she smiled again, like nothing was wrong, and held up her note. "This is my brother, visiting." But something about the way her eyes didn't match her smile made my stomach twist. She mouthed the word help just as the curtain slid shut. I froze. Did I really see that? Or was I imagining it? I waited for the curtain to open again, but it didn't. Not that day. Not the next. Not the one after. I called the building superintendent. Said I was a friend and hadn't heard from her. He told me apartment 3B had been vacant for over 6 months. I argued. I saw her. We talked. He said, "Sir, I cleaned that unit myself. No one's lived there since Mrs. Carter passed." That name hit me like a hammer. Carter. A.C. Carter. I demanded to see the apartment. He reluctantly agreed and let me in the moment I stepped inside. I knew it was the right place. Same window, same angle, but it was cold, dusty, and empty. No furniture. No coffee mug. Just a single photo on the floor, face down. I picked it up and turned it over. It was her, smiling, standing beside a man who looked like the one I'd seen that Monday. On the back of the photo were the words, "Amelia and Adam, 2019. She looked so full of life in that photo. Nothing like the pale, silent version I'd been waving to every morning. The superintendent must have seen my face because he said, "Mrs. Carter lived alone. Her brother visited sometimes, but he died in an accident 2 years ago after she passed. No one wanted the place. Too many stories." I left that day in a daze. I walked back to my apartment and sat by my window, staring at hers. Empty, dark, lifeless. But deep down, I knew what I'd seen. I knew the connection had been real. I don't know how or why she came back, or why she reached out to me. Maybe she just needed someone to remember her, to notice, to care. And every morning, I still wake up at 8:15. I make my coffee, open my blinds, and look across the street. The window is always empty, but sometimes, when the light hits just right, I swear I can see her standing there, smiling, wearing that blue scarf. And I smile back, just in case she's still watching.